Friday, everyone. I hope you have all had an amazing week, and I am very grateful that you can be here with me. And we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to do duck. Now, in Canada, in my world anyway, that isn't something that we see lots and lots of. But occasionally, you can get a really good deal on duck. And if you do, or if it's just something that you really enjoy, I highly recommend that you pick it up when you can and throw it in your freezer if you have to. Any type of meat is always a little bit better when it's fresh. But now, one thing that you have to do, and you can see that I'm doing this here, often there are just some little pin feathers left in the duck, and you can see that I'm just pulling them out, and we'll get rid of those in just a second. Just want to make sure that this is a nice, beautiful piece of duck to cook. Now we're going to get this cooking. We're going to heat up our pan first, and we're going to get this cooking pretty quick. Now all we're going to do on this is we are going to salt and pepper it, but we're going to make it special when it's done cooking. So we are going to, my, there are a few more pin feathers in this than I had seen at first, but that's okay. We will get this all figured out. I am just going to put these right on a piece of paper towel so that we can just put the whole thing in the compost when it's done. Now, getting this part done is definitely going to make your duck more pleasant to eat. Now, you can do the same thing that we're doing this morning. You can do this with chicken, you can do it with turkey, you can do it with whatever you like, whatever poultry you like. Okay, so that pretty much has that. Now, we are just going to make this nice and simple. We are going to add some salt. Now, you want to dry this off when it comes out of the package, and don't be cheap with your salt. Now, you can see how red duck meat is compared to chicken or turkey. And that's because ducks are a lot more active. Have you ever watched a duck flap its wings to get across the road, get through the sky? Their wings beat 1,000,000 miles a minute. So the harder a muscle works, the more red it is. At least that's what I've been told. I'm not a biologist. Now, I'm going to say this morning because I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you a little bit about statins. Now, recently I have been faced with the question of statins twice. And both times I told the people that I was talking to the same thing. First of all, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. Now that's important because I want you to listen to doctors and scientists and people who know what they're talking about because they have researched it and they want the truth to be out there. That's who I want you to listen to. Now, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to try and remember to share a video with a world-renowned cardiologist. He's very well respected in the keto world. Have you got your coffee this morning? I hope so. I have a cup of coffee with sugar-free almond sweetener in it. And it is wonderful. Now, we'll see. You know, there's an easy way to see if your pan is hot. You see that? Now, I don't know if you can see in this pan that the bubbles just kind of rolled around. That tells me this pan is hot. Now, when I put this duck in the pan, oh, that is warm. That little duck has an attitude. Now you've noticed that I put this skin side down. I was not expecting that noise. It doesn't usually do that. Now I'm putting the skin side down and I'm just making sure that this skin is all touching the frying pan because we've got this on a medium heat. Alexa, set a 5-minute timer. We've got this on a medium heat.
Starting now.
She's so helpful, isn't she? Do you guys come and hang out with me, or do you come to hang out with her helping me? I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to let this just cook for 5 minutes. We're rendering the fat, and rendering that duck fat is really important, and you can save this duck fat to use for other things. And it's wonderful for frying whatever you're wanting to do in it. So we're just going to let that go for 5 minutes, and while that piece of duck is cooking, we are going to make our compound butter. Now, compound butter is, again, one of those things that just elevates a meal. It takes it to the next level, and it's something that you can do and then put away and save it for next time. Now, I'm taking some fresh sage, and we want about a 1/4 cup. Now, here's the thing with fresh herbs. You want to use them 1 to 3. So if you don't have fresh sage, that should be about enough. If you don't have fresh sage, if you want a 1/4 cup, you want about a tablespoon. Now we're going to take this and we are going to chop it up. Now, I should have maybe had this done before, but this is so easy to do. And if you have a garden, this is the perfect time of year, if you live in Canada, to start planting some herbs so that you've got fresh herbs to use all summer without having to pay grocery store prices for them. They are easy to grow. They just take a little bit of TLC. Now, because we're doing a butter with this, I'm going to leave these stems out. There's nothing wrong with these stems, but I don't want those crunchy bits in the butter so much. So I'm going to leave this out and just do the leaves. We want the nice tender bits in here. There we go. Now, having this chopped up fine does a couple of things. First of all, it makes the butter more pleasant to eat, and second of all, it lets more of the flavor from the sage into the butter. Now you can use this, we're going to use it today on the duck, but you don't have to use it on duck. You can use this on whatever you like, because it's delicious anywhere. Okay. Now, we're going to see if we've managed to get a 1/4 cup. Yeah, well, that's a 1/3, but it'll work. We just won't fill it quite full. And you can see that's pretty close. So we have our bowl with a 1/4 pound of butter in it. We're adding our sage to it, and the other thing that we're going to put in here, and we did this the other day, we're doing it again today, is we're using lemon and lime. Now, we are going to zest the lemon and the lime, and we're going to put that wonderful lemon zest in here. So make sure you wash your produce when you get it home so you're not putting pesticides in your butter or your salad dressing, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, look at all of that beautiful lemon zest. And you just want only the yellow, because it's the same as lime. Oh, look at how this duck is rendering out. That skin is getting so crispy, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, that's about enough lemon zest. So I've got the zest off about half of the lemon. And now we are going to do the same thing with the lime. Did you know that if you scratch the stem part of the lime a little bit when you're in the grocery store, if you want to know if it's a good one, if it's a little bit soft, like not rotten soft, but And our duck is done. Alexa, stop. Now, the same as with any other piece of meat, you want to make sure. Now look, at this was stuck hard when we put it on here. Alexa, set a 2-minute timer. But as it cooks, as the fat renders out, it just releases off the pan, so it's not stuck to the pan. Okay, now we're going to finish doing this. Now, after this duck is done, we're going to leave it rest for a little bit. Probably pretty close to enough. Now I only take the part of the lime. Sometimes the skin kind of turns a different color. I only take the part that's green and beautiful and vibrant and lovely. And we're going to put that in there. Now we don't need the juice from a whole lemon and a whole lime. This is smelling amazing, and it is going to be beautifully cooked. You don't want duck well done. You want it a medium to medium rare. Okay. Now we're only going to do half of the lemon right now. And we use our reamer. Now doing this into a bowl does two things for you. Oops. Get lemon juice going over my shoulder. When you do it with a reamer into a bowl rather than into whatever it is you're making, you have a chance to get the seeds out first. Limes don't have so many seeds, but lemons definitely do. Now we are getting pretty close to having this little duck breast perfectly cooked. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for the lemon for right now, and then we're going to do the lime. And our duck is done, kids. Okay. Alexa, stop. Now, usually I have my flipper or my tongs that I use, and I forgot to get them, so we just use this for today. Now this little duck breast is going to sit here and rest. And if you remember from, we're going to turn this off and just get rid of this pan. And while I'm at it, I'm going to make sure that we have a plate out to use in a little while. Now, you'll notice that I just set that right on the burner, but that burner has some heat from the frying pan that was on it, but the burner itself doesn't get hot. It doesn't, I don't know exactly how the magnetic induction burners work, but I do know that I love it a whole bunch. Okay, now we're going to zest this lime. This is an amazingly juicy lime. Look at that. I don't know, can you see this? I'm just squeezing it. I don't even need the reamer this time. And the juice is just pouring out of it. And yeah, we are getting lots of lime juice out of this. I'm always looking for a good deal. And I found a really good deal on lemons and limes, so I stocked up on them. So I'm going to spend part of my day today. Making a mess on the counter is what I'm spending part of my day doing. I'm going to spend part of my day today zesting the limes and the lemon and putting that amazing lemon zest away and lime zest so that I can use it later on. It's easy to dry. Spread it on a pan, put parchment paper on it, spread it on a pan, and just leave it for a day and it'll be nice and dry. Now we've got our lime juice and our lemon juice. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of each, making sure, now let me get the butter over here where you can see it. Now this is salted butter, and if you prefer not to use salted butter or you prefer to salt your own, that's okay too. However it is you want to do it. So 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. We're just going to set the rest aside. And I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of lime juice. Now, if you like this more potent or less potent, you know, this is another one of those things where there are no rules, right? Now, we've got the sage in there. The other thing that we're going to add, now, I did not have fresh parsley today. So I have 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, 3 to 1. So if you have 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley, you need 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. And because I used a 1/4 cup of sage, I wanted the equivalent in dried parsley. If you're using, now this is parsley leaves, you can tell. If you're using ground, it is 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. So if I was going the sage, instead of a 1/4 cup, I would use a tablespoon-ish. And if I didn't have sage leaves, if it was a ground sage, I would use 1/2 tablespoon. So, and that's just because of how much it grinds down or gets smaller. You know what I'm saying. So you don't want things to be overpowering. Okay, so we're going to get this all mixed in. Now, this is all there is to it. This is going to be an amazing compound butter that we can use on anything. The important part here is that you get this all ground in. Now, I was talking about statins a little earlier. I'm going to put a link to a video for a cardiologist that I very much respect and is respected in the keto world, and I'm going to start posting more videos because, you know, I keep telling you guys, do your research. Well, I'm going to help you with that, and I'm going to start putting links to people that I trust, people that have been part of my education, and they can be part of yours as well. Okay. Oh, itchy eye. Now, if you are looking at what I'm doing here, you can see that the lemon juice and the lime juice are being a little bit stubborn about mixing in there, but we'll get it. It just takes a little bit of patience, and while we're using that little bit of patience, we're getting these herbs beautifully ground in here, and you very likely had some kind of herbed compound butter when you've ordered something at a nice restaurant, or I don't know, maybe you make compound butter at home. What herbs do you like in your butter? If you do, it can be a little bit of a challenge when you're cooking for a family and everybody likes different things and doesn't like different things. And we have 6 children, and it was definitely a bit of a challenge for us because I don't think there were many things that everybody liked, including something as simple as pizza. One of our kids really didn't like pizza at all, not even a little bit. Okay, so we are just really working this in here. We want to get this lime and lemon flavor mixed in as well as we can. And we're getting there. And you can see the lime zest in there and the lemon zest. And so this is going to be absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to take a little tiny taste test. Oh yeah, that is going to be incredible. Now the longer this sits, the more the parsley will soften up. So you don't have the dried herb in there. It's going to get nice and moist, and the lemon and the lime and the fat from the butter are all going to mix together. And okay, now that is our compound butter. We're going to maybe keep working that a little bit later. I want you to take a look at this duck breast. Now, you know, maybe I just geek out a little bit too much over cooking, but I don't think there's a whole lot more pretty than a beautifully cooked piece of meat. And I don't know if you can hear him or not, but my little dog is down here going, Mom, please share. Now look at that. That is cooked just perfectly. And the breast is crunchy, and look at how much we have rendered down the fat on this. So when we eat a piece of that, it is going to be delicious. Now I want to show you something. I bought, it's called kale slaw. So we're just going to put a couple pieces of this duck breast. Oh, I'm dropping things here. We're just going to put a couple pieces on the plate because I'm just coming to the end of a fast, and I don't want a lot to eat because I'm just coming, where am I now? About 38 hours, 40 hours? I don't know. I'll do the math later. At any rate, so what we're going to have with that is a bit of salad. Now this is one serving. According to the package, this is one serving. Now this is not a huge bowl. You can see looking at my hand, but it's a fair size. That's a big, big serving, in my opinion. Now in kale slaw, you have Brussels sprouts, and you have kale, and you have cabbage, and you've got all kinds of wonderful yumminess in there. And we're going to do something super simple. So we have a little bit of leftover lemon and a little bit of leftover lime. So we're just going to put the rest of the lime, the rest of the lemon minus the seeds. There we go, no seeds. No seeds were harmed in the making of this vinaigrette. And we're going to add a little bit of, avocado oil. I'm just going to pick up that lid. Luckily it landed lid side down rather than the inside down. Okay, now to this we're going to add just a wee little bit of sweetener. That's about a tablespoon. That might be a little too much actually, but if it is, I will just make some more vinaigrette. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we're going to use a fork and we're going to whip this up. Vinaigrettes are so easy to make, and honestly, they taste better than anything that you are ever going to buy in the store. I promise you that. And they are so much better for you. So we've got a little bit of lime, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of avocado oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of sweetener. Now, let's see if we've got it right. It's not an exact science. It doesn't have to be, because it needs to be exactly the way you want it to be. That is nice. But what it does need is a little more citrus. So I'm going to add a little more lime in there. See how that just squeezed out? These limes are lovely. Don't think we're going to have quite as good a luck with the lemon. Oh, well, we had better luck than I thought. Okay. Now, you know what? We're just going to add a little bit of the lemon zest in there. It's a little harder to do after you've after you've squeezed the lemon or cut it in half. But I think we got this. Okay, so watch on this Shining Life Facebook page. I am going to be putting a link there to a cardiologist that's going to talk to you about statins. You can watch that. Hi, Del. You can watch that and you can decide for yourself whether or not statins are a good idea for you. It really is your choice. It is not my choice. It's not your doctor's choice. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Now, remember I told you this was one serving? Now, this is a large dinner plate. Okay? So, when you think this is a large dinner plate, I'm going to take about half of this and put it on the plate. Now look at how big a serving that is. Now, if that's all you need, that's all you need. Just because the package says it's one serving doesn't mean you need to have that much. Now, for today, because I am just coming off this fast, I'm not going to have quite that much. I just want a wee little bit. Now we'll take this fork out of there, and we'll grab a spoon, and we're just going to put a wee little bit of this lemon lime vinaigrette on here. And then, because it's going to be absolutely amazing, you can take your compound butter and you can make shapes out of it as well. And we're just going to set that right on the duck. Now this duck, the rest of it will be saved for later. But for right now, I've been looking forward to this since I decided to do it yesterday, so let's check it out. That's the way you want to do it. Use this butter on anything. And we'll try the salad. Now when you go to buy, now I'm going to be honest with you, most often I buy bags of salad. When you buy a bag of salad, don't just buy lettuce. Buy coleslaw, buy kale slaw, buy broccoli slaw, buy something that has more nutrition in it. And it's going to give you lots of different flavors. Just the right amount of sweet, just the right amount of oiliness and saltiness, and that is wonderful. So I can assure you, I will be enjoying this later on. Whether you like kale or whether you don't, try kale slaw. It's got other veggies in it too. You're getting lots of the yummy goodness out of the kale. That's what we've got for today. I'm going to go and enjoy my coffee. I have lots of things to do, including cleaning up the mess that I just made. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that all of you have had an amazing week and that you do your very best to live your best version of this shining life from now until we meet again on Sunday. And we'll do something fun on Sunday as well. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. Cook your chicken, your turkey, your duck, whatever it is you need to cook, and make some compound butter. Have some fun with it. Use fresh herbs, or if you use dried herbs, leave it sit a little bit longer. I'm going to get this all wrapped up in plastic wrap, and I'm going to leave it sitting in the fridge so that it can finish doing what it's doing, and I'll be enjoying it for the next week or two. See how long it lasts. Have a great weekend. I will see you Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain, right here, same place. Oh, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, hit all the things and do all the stuff so that we can hang out together 3 times a week. 10 a.m. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I'll be here.